Welcome back. We're blasting off again with Ruckus. Woo woo. What's up, Ruckus?
Hey Jamie, thanks for having me back for part two of this, whatever this is, this bizarre conversation we've been having.
Well, this one is called Robophobia because I am a bigot against robots and AI and all of this technological progress that we seem to be careening down the path to I don't even know where. But I had posted a show a long time ago, like maybe 2 years ago. It was called Sex Bots, something about sex bots, and you can find that in the members section on YouTube. But it was a couple years ago. But it was like this is coming, and now it's here. And we have a bunch of clips for you. We have a bunch of resources. We have a great ruckus from Alternate Current Radio and the Boiler Room with Hesher and Spore. So I hope you are ready for part two of iSim. That was the name of the show we did before, right?
Yeah. So you're telling me you're anti-robotic, is that it?
Well, it's like if it replaces humanity, then yeah. Um, and I want to go back to the very uh, beginning of like classic antiquity with the legendary character of Greek mythology called Pygmalion. Have you heard of that story?
Yeah. A long, long time ago, I remember they used to teach this stuff like in high school and stuff. Yeah.
You're right. Back in the old times. So Pygmalion was a character in Greek mythology who was a sculptor who fell in love with a statue that he had carved. Now, according to Ovid, when Pygmalion saw the temple prostitutes of Cyprus, he began, quote, detesting the faults beyond measure which nature has given to women. Now, this is uh, something that's going to come up over and over again that uh, it's women's fault that they must be replaced by robots and technology. And one of the last things that I sent you in our thread was about artificial wombs and how it is just so over for women now that we have artificial wombs. Because I know men are just like chomping at the bit to be single dads, like all of them just, right? They want to have
When
a
I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I think about. I can't wait till science and technology can cause it to where I don't have to mess with those pesky females anymore, and I can have a sex robot and it'll give birth. Every day I think about no, not at all,
what?
Jamie.
And
But
then you can have
most men maybe.
And then you can have a separate nanny bot that changes the diapers and the feeding bot that feeds it. And like it's not like you're going to be a parent. But just to kick this off and where we're going with this, because it's very satanic and I can prove that. I have receipts, okay? The replacement of women and men with AI is straight from the pit of hell. And let's just listen to this clip of the infamous Nick Fuentes talking about how it is so over for women. You ready for this?
Was ever created, not just like a complete loon, but
You hear it?
but objectively, that's just going to be true. Deal with it, fucking liberal. When sex robots with like VR, AR, augmented reality, and AI, it's literally going to be the only profit-making thing that AI does besides defense. It's going to be porn and sex. And when that happens, women are when that happens, number one, it's going to be the best thing ever. Number two, women are going to be fucked because everybody's going to prefer it. Then we got to cut their welfare and they'll come crawling back. Oh, day of the sex robot is coming. It will not arrive soon enough. Sex robots, bring them forth because you know what's going to happen? You know what? Guys already prefer pornography. Then when the pornography steps out of the digital and into the real with sex robots, AR, AI enhanced pornography, man, women are going to be fucked. Because we're not going to have to put up with their bullshit. That's what men are going to do. You thought men were going their own way before? Wait. You think we're going to put up with all that nonsense? And then what we're going to do is we're going to vote for Andrew Tate for president. He's going to cut all their welfare. DEI is finished. There will be no more female lawyers ever again without DEI. And then they're all going to be in the streets. They're going to be in the streets. They're going to be in the streets learning to mend clothing, learning to cook. And they're going to start acting real nice. They're going to be competing. Oh, I can't wait. The tables are going to turn. Because right now, women are on Tinder, they're on Instagram, and every man is competing with every other man in the world. You know, a woman that you know starts an Instagram page, and you are now in competition with oil sheiks in the Emirates and Chinese billionaires and every man in America. Okay, all the millions of men that are 6'2" and above on planet Earth, every man with a net worth north of $1 million, an income north of $1 million, you are now competing with them because they are in her DMs. They are in her DMs. I'll fly you out. I'll fly you out. 7 figures, a billionaire, a movie star. And so women just take their pick. Next. This one didn't buy an appetizer. Next. Throw his card down. This one was. And you know what's going to happen in the next generation? Economical sex robots. They're $500. They're cheaper than an Apple Watch. Augmented reality, it determines your best sexual fantasy, the one you like the most, and it's going to give you perfect sex on demand for free all the time. And then women are competing with that. Yeah.
So that is the sentiment of the young men and the red pill and what's coming in, Christianese, Christian nationalism, whatever's going to happen to our country. They really think that they can replace all women with robots, just like this Pygmalion character, who, when he saw, which temple prostitution is terrible. Yes, that was a very dark time in history, but it wasn't like these people had their own agency and free will. So we just did a talk at our church, actually, cults of the first century, where we were talking about, the Temple of Aphrodite, Temple of Inanna, these proto-human trafficking sex cults, goddess worshiping cults. And the girls were sold into that at childhood. They weren't volunteering to go be temple prostitutes of their own free will. Now, I know today you can, of your own free will, go do an OnlyFans or whatever, but we're just trying to get like a grasp historically. And forgive me because I'm a little sick. I have a sniffle, so I'm not thinking very well. And I might have to like duck out and blow my nose a couple of times. But I think you guys can see where I am going with this. Blaming so much of society's problems on women alone is just like this Pygmalion character who decided to be, an incel or remain celibate and occupy himself with sculpting until he sculpted the perfect woman, and that was the only thing that he could love. And he loved it so much he started to treat it like a real woman, and then he prayed to Aphrodite to make her real. And as the story goes, she came alive and they had a child. But um, this also tracks to Satanism, right? And I have done this book in my member section, The Secret Life of a Satanist. Now, I don't know if you had heard this before, Ruckus, that Anton LaVey predicted this. He was a pioneer of this, the sex bots, and he thought that it would be a bigger industry than Ford Motors. Have you ever heard that before?
No, but I can't say he's probably wrong. And as far as Nick Fuentes goes, I would like to do a quick little pushback as the male on this podcast, this episode here. Clearly, he doesn't speak for all male, but I see what you're saying is that he's representative of what a lot of young impressionable men, especially the ones who follow him, presumably, are into. This is how they think. I mean, to me, it sounded like, oh, that would be a great like comedy bit if it was on stage and it was clear that the person delivering these lines was a comedian. It's hilarious what he was saying. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cultural satire to be had there, but it's one-sided, and it's all actually contributing to the exact same type of prejudices and problems that he's complaining about. Like, so I mean, like, so he's basically admitting or suggesting that all women are good for, as far as he and his fellow men are concerned for, is just for the sex. So now that there's better sex, we don't need women. You
Hmm.
see where, and you know, same thing with the women have their particular ideals about what men should be. So it's like I think both sides have got something screwed up here, and we need to, you know, it's a foundational straying away from the teachings of Christ and what God had intended for man and woman from the beginning with marriage and all of that stuff. And then, you know, it's interesting the satanic thing because there was always this obsession with sex. I mean, until recent history in today's society, sex was a taboo. I mean, taboo subject. You don't talk. That's strictly between you and your partner, and in the bedroom. And it's just everywhere. It's in your face. It's all over the place. It's on your YouTube. It's your phone. Your computer wants your fluids, as you suggested them the last time we
Yeah.
were together. So, I mean, quite literally. I mean, they make devices to do these things apparently now. But yeah, so I'd like to hear what Anton LaVey had to say about all this.
Well, he actually enjoyed spending time with his puppets more than with people. So he had a basement in his San Francisco home called the Den of Iniquity that he set up to look like a speakeasy, where he put mannequins up and pretended like they were the patrons at a bar, right? And so here's some of his drawings and his.
We've all been there. We've done that once or twice.
It's like that Lars and the Real Girl. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Oh,
It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, though. Like this guy's like clearly psycho.
well, here's somebody that he admired making animatronics. So this guy, I can't recall, what's his name? His name is Cecil Nixon made this animatron named Isis, who was a friend of Anton LaVey. And
ISIS, of course.
yeah, I'm trying to find the picture of the Den of Iniquity in here, if that's even in here. But there's a whole chapter on sex bots. And he says Anton LaVey believed the manufacturing of humanoids would be the next major consumer industry and an unparalleled answer to a range of human problems, from sexual incompatibility to economic recession and violent crime. This is exactly what Nick Fuentes is talking about. So, in like the 70s, he had this new phase for his organization. He's like, we are going to switch into like looking into robotics and androids and humanoids, and he actually looked up to Walt Disney for introducing those kinds of things to children with the Hall of Presidents and making them comfortable being around humanoids. So the
Well,
first,
fail. I want to point out that nothing was more frightening to me as a child than those creepy early animatronics. Just saying.
I know, and so he was talking about the uses. The first and most obvious one would be sexual, and there's plenty in this thread that we're gonna get to about how they are using these. And then he thinks that it would cut down on the number of unwanted pregnancies. He thinks that it would free men of the societal pressure of like fatherhood and income and like status building. And it would relieve people of their personal fetishes. You could have baby bots for people, perverts and that. And he actually saw the humanoids as a next step in the satanic evolution of man. So he said there will be a re-education to emphasize the attitude that the substitute is often better than that which is being substituted. Now, Nick Fuentes just said that in his thing, right? Men already prefer the digital to the real thing because it's just too much work, right?
I don't know where he got that from either. I've had experience with each, and I disagree with that statement.
I mean, if you are a selfish narcissist raised to like inside the Videodrome, I really feel bad for the kids who don't remember the before times when we all liked each other and things were more real. I mean, I understand there's movies and there's always been like mind control vectors, music, media, that kind of thing. But now it's just so sophisticated and all encompassing. I don't even know how you could even escape it. And the last thing I wanted to say about Anton LaVey is that he was anti-feminist. I didn't know if anyone could wrap their minds around like what I'm gonna be trying to get at because the first wave feminist movement was kind of a reaction to industrialization. And now we're coming on this new wave of like technology, which is going to be like industrialization and change the world in so much more profound ways. But so industrialization took women and the Enlightenment too. So like the idea that things are mechanical, right? The world is just a machine, and you can, if you can learn how it works, you can master it, manipulate it. Everything is just a cog in some kind of piece of machinery. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I don't agree with it, but I can see how that's the common the the thinking
Mhm.
pattern of in particular about people who control societies. I mean, how else can you run for politics or want to be engaged in any type of social engineering if you don't already view society and all of its moving parts as just that, a machine? Because you're some sort of like architect who's building the machine or an inventor, or you're like the overlord, overseer, the manager, the assembly line floor worker manager dude barking orders or whatever, but you're not, you have zero control. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's wild to me. And sex is obviously they want you to consider sex to be mechanical as well. It's just, all of these hoops that you got to jump through just to get to one ultimate conclusion. They're like, well, if we could just skip all the parts, just get to the conclusion anytime you want with the flick of a switch or the click of a button, let's go for that because that's all that matters, right? The ends justify the means, I suppose. Why don't we
Oh,
just cut the means out and jump right to the ends, right?
yes, very utilitarian, very like just production over morals, and a lot of this red pill stuff is they use evolutionary biology, and they're like, so the best greatest thing is just to reproduce yourself. And that's not necessarily true in the Christian worldview. And they're treating women like they're just kind of like a broken machine. Like it doesn't do what I want. If I put in these, widgets and she doesn't give me exactly what I think, like a vending machine, then the software is broken or the hardware is broken. And they're thinking in terms now when you have like Curtis Yarvin, Nick Land, and these sort of like thought leaders that everyone, well, first of all, a lot of them think we're just in a simulation and that none of this is real. So there is really not a lot of consequences cosmically for what they do. Um, but they view the world in these terms of like software, hardware, programmable machines. And women are just like these interchangeable widgets that one can produce a baby, it has value, one can not, it has no value. Um, and I wanted to also show you guys this weird science. Uh, This is a like comic book from the 50s, and one of the little vignettes in there is called Made of the Future, about a guy who like time travels to the future where through, I think it's through Rockefeller Center too. Like he accidentally uh ends up in the future and he's seeing these billboards and it says lonely, and that is a something that is covered a lot, the male loneliness epidemic. Right? Have you heard
Yeah,
that?
we mentioned that on our previous program. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've made it an official thing. The Surgeon General has warned that America is facing a loneliness epidemic. There you go.
Yeah. So in the future, the billboard says lonely. A construct a wife kit will end your problem. Satisfaction guaranteed. Choose your own type. Blonde, brunette, redheads. Come in for a demonstration now. So he gets one of these like wives that you, I think he just pours her into the bathtub and she like comes out and it does not go the way that he's planning because she leaves him in the end too. So when she gets her own agency, so I just thought that was kind of funny. But this is the kind of predictive programming that we're talking about. What do you got there? Cherry 2000. Good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen that movie, it sounds like the person who wrote this movie read that comic book strip and said, "That's a neat idea. I'm going to make a movie about it."
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Jay and I covered that a long, long time ago too. I think it's like in our B movie classics, but that perfectly illustrates the point of what I'm talking about. You cannot build your own like made to order person to love you. That's not how love works. That's not how life works. That's not how the mystery of childbirth or any of this works. That's not how it works. And all that to say, why did I bring up that Anton LaVey was anti-feminist? Because I feel like the anti-feminist information and stuff is moving into like anti-woman, anti-feminine. Um, and anything that is womanly or feminine is going to be vilified. And so he believed that the male and female polarities were crucial for manipulation. So it wasn't like he was on a good page about this, but he thought that women needed to act feminine because it was easier for them to manipulate men, right? And then you also have these like anti-feminist guys like Jack Donovan, who was a early like pagan uh red pill guy. And it turned out he was just like a furry who tried to get a group of males together in the woods to act like wolves and touch butts. So some people, and I know you're like, what, Jamie? Why are you bringing this up? Because a lot of people who are good people, I see them teaming up with trash people over being anti-feminist. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like it's a low-hanging fruit kind of like what percentage of the actual population is does this appeal to, or is it just projecting the idea that this exists in order to get the rage reaction opposite to it? I don't know because I'm not. Here's my problem with all of this stuff: the incel culture and the manosphere and what you refer to them, the red pill
Yeah.
bros or whatever they're right. I've never encountered any of these people in real life, and I doubt I've ever encountered one on my online life. So it's like it's foreign to me. So it's like it's very bizarre for me to suspect that there's a large group of these people running around actually thinking this. Instead, I have to go with my own experiences, my gut feeling, and hope and pray and cross my fingers that a larger amount of people feel more like I do and you do, that this is ridiculous, this is garbage, this is satanic, it's an inversion, it's wrong.
Hmm.
But then again, people elected Donald Trump for the second time. So, there's that. So,
Well, and a lot of this is because of the, ubiquitousness of corn. And I don't even know if I can say that word on my channel, but like, let's just
we
play
like to say prawn on
prawn.
Blue.
Okay, corn or prawn. Sex dolls, all of this stuff, it's super satanic. And now I'm sure you've heard this word gooner, and it's the new like label for being addicted to prawn. So let's just hear about a gooner from his own mouth.
Week is just mainly focusing on other stuff. How would you describe a good? I would say someone who maximizes their porn intake and then for as long as possible. So, like, kind of the purpose is you're literally trying to get as much porn in your life exactly as you can. So, are you watching it because you enjoy the storylines of porn? Oh, absolutely not. Okay. Okay. On a normal basis, like 6 to 7 hours, probably like 12 at the max. I'm not super mad. So for 12 hours, yeah, I think I would get watching pornography. I've noticed that there's a point maybe to where I'm just mentally exhausted, so I'll take a 30 to an hour break. I'll go do something completely different. I make sure to stay hydrated. That's important. Yeah, exactly. Are all gooners like you? Or you'd walk by them on the street. You wouldn't really know. Why do you think you do this? Good de-stressor. It's a good disguise as a distressor. It's a bit of escapism, maybe. And why talk to me today? People have misconceptions about it, and if I can help, then yeah, why not clear the air? What are the misconceptions of gooning? That's like their whole life. That's all they focus on. I normally just spend one day gooning, and then the rest of my week is just mainly focusing on other stuff. I normally just spend.
He's a well-balanced gooner, right?
Holy moly. Yeah, the gooning was a new one on me. I watched a video about it and I was like, what is this? This is crazy. Some of the videos and articles I've seen about this it's they're not just watching it to do the thing to get to that to get off. They're just absorbed, just scrolling and watching it. Like they like just it's a nonstop. It's crazy. It's like the doom scrolling, but it's scrolling, and it gets a name. It's called gooning. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is crazy. If you had told me this was
scrolling,
going to be a thing, and this would be on my bingo card, I lose. I do not get bingo. Nope.
goon scrolling. And that leads to hating women. I don't, there's no other path that it's going to take. You're going to be like Pygmalion looking at all of these 304s or whatever that you looked up, that you sought out, and now you hate them and you don't want them to exist, but you can't live without them, right? And so, because a lot of women are not really into guys that are like that, they want to start producing children artificially. And this new, just 4 days ago, came out with the artificial womb that successfully grew a lamb. Now, let's take a look at this. This lamb. Oh, don't play the music. Okay. So,
Why a lamb, by the way?
oh, good point. So, a children's hospital from Philadelphia just took the first step in growing a lamb. So, how long do you think it's going to be before all of us are replaced by technology? Because, like I said, the Industrial Revolution, it kind of displaced a lot of women's like work that they do and the value that they add to society by taking away the two things like textiles and food processing, right? And putting cash in between uh what you could produce just on your own and how to live. I know I'm not explaining this very well because I'm sick, but we're going to do a whole show on just like the Enlightenment and feminism and all of this stuff. But like I said, this is what's coming to men. So men aren't going to know what to do with themselves after this technological revolution.
What are they going to do with themselves, I wonder? Oh, well, maybe they'll
Oh,
Jeffrey
obvious
mix
and
up. Maybe they'll off themselves, or maybe we'll see a wave of self-deletion. Because I mean, ultimately, where is this heading? It's quite. What's that word where the dooms? There's cults of people who believe existentialism. I guess they believe that like it's just what's the point? We're all going to die. There's these Extinction Rebellion.
yes.
That's the group with the tattoos and the hourglass infinity sign thing. Quite satanic. I think that's where that's headed. I mean, what's the point? I mean, I mean, men serve a purpose in a unit, a family unit. Women serve a purpose in a family unit,
Mhm.
and women, parents, children, all of this stuff serves a purpose as part of the human experience. The AI and the machines replacing any one of these moving parts is completely destroyed humanity, completely rewritten it, completely like, what is this? It's not even, can we be considered humans anymore? How long, Jamie, before we start all heading towards androgenic type looks? Because like the females are like, well, geez, I used to do myself up. I used to do my makeup and my hair and get my nails done and made sure that I showed just the right amount of cleavage just to attract a man. Yeah, like, oh, you're telling me I can do all of that stuff and have the best boobs on the planet and the coolest looking nails and the nicest hair and the best looking makeup and it don't matter anymore because according to Nick Fuentes, he's got the best prawn available, so why bother? So like, I'm not going to do my makeup anymore. I'm not going to do my nails. Forget the cleavage. I'm just going to stop wearing a bra. Like,
Yeah.
have fun, ladies. It's going to be great. But how long before like we can't tell who's who and what's what. We're all going to be eating the slop. We're going to be in the coon pods from Idiocracy, all gooning. We'll call them goon pods. There we go.
Yep, yep, exactly. And not only that, they are going to be ruling over us because AI is so uh seductive in the way that is like sycophantic basically towards you. It agrees with everything you say. It says you're always the best, you're always the
Oh, that's a
smartest.
great analysis, Jamie. That's, oh, sorry. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would say that, right?
Of course, it's going to agree with you and say that, oh, that's a good idea, or you're so smart, because it's programmed to do that so that you keep on using it. And it's like anybody who doesn't encounter healthy critiques and criticisms from people that love you is going to end up weird and psycho. And I mean, just look at people like Kanye West, like people who nobody tells them no, or that's a bad idea. They're going to be pulling their teeth out and replacing it with titanium or whatever goofy thing that they like think of. And not only that, it's also programming you with the algorithms. So the AI or whoever creates these things also has an agenda. Silicon Valley and the programmers, they worship it. They have an agenda. They want to bring this out as a new God. They say things like, there is no God yet. That's a rabbi who said that, an atheist rabbi. But in Albania, they already have part of their government is an AI. Have you seen this?
Yes, the prime the she's an MP, Minister of Parliament for Albania.
Yes. What is her name? I'm trying to look. Oh, I can't find the name of it. But yeah, so they are already integrating AI into making decisions in the government. And
And she's recently pregnant, if I'm not mistaken, with
oh,
83 children, right?
yes, yeah. Not not only is there an AI, she says she's pregnant. Oh, and another thing, it's like they have found out when you ask a AI to name itself, a lot of times it will give itself a name of like mythology, like a god, an ancient goddess or something like that. So it's already identifying with these type of supernatural powers.
I saw an interesting article. I don't have it in front of me, but I swear I read this article, so take this with a grain of salt. But the article said that somebody was interacting with Grok and discovered that Grok thinks that Elon Musk is its god. So there you go.
There you go. And the priestcraft is going to be programmers. So the AI is going to be God, and then, people who know how to serve it are going to be the new overlords or the archons or whatever. And this does lead to the red pill because who uh, thought of that in the beginning? Curtis Yarvin. So he's where we get the idea of like taking the red pill and getting out of the matrix. And so he kind of like coined that idea, and now it's turned into this very anti-marriage, anti-family, because they just keep on spouting these statistics that scare people like, oh, women are responsible for 80% of divorce, or women file for 80% of divorces, right? So that's one of their great talking points, but it doesn't, that's just one piece of data and it might not even be super reliable, but they take it and run with it. Oh, so 80% of women are going to divorce you. It's like, no, that's not how percentages work, right? Um, but
There,
there,
there used to be this running idea that if you were engaged in a relationship and let's say you're married and you had kids, they would be like the guy would be like, "Well, I'm screwed. The woman's going to get everything." Like they would. There's this misconception that the idea was that all judges, all laws lean towards the women and they're going to fall in their favor regardless of it. Like the woman could be a complete horrible monster, molesting and beating the kids, but they're still she's going to get the custody because it's the woman. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's just one of these things that is seeded into society to create, this division between the two sexes. Division is always useful, right?
oh yeah, and especially if they can get men versus women, then you've got them. Like there's nowhere else to go. So the second story I sent you says family lawyer says he's seeing a new trend of the manosphere leading to divorce. So not only are they avoiding marriage, yeah, there you go. They are leaving their current relationships because the women aren't high value enough. They're not submissive enough. They're not, you know, right
They're
wing
not
thinking enough.
perfect enough.
They're not like a sex bot. They don't obey you perfectly like a robot. And it's just really sad that that's what a lot of people wanted all along, not a real human that could help them in life and sharpen them and spur them on to be a better person. They just wanted a programmable, set of holes.
Well, it's 2025. Good news, people. They make those. You can probably order one online, right?
Oh, we'll get there. We've got photos too. So this article, misogynistic content is winning over married men and leading to many divorces. So now who's divorcing, right? And this is from a lawyer, a divorce lawyer saying this. So it's funny when I remember the times when it was men who didn't want to get married and the old ball and chain jokes and the old like bridezilla jokes and as a millennial when you're dating you don't even bring up marriage as a woman because you're gonna be like what is she a freak you just want a free ride uh you just want to be like stay at home mom like that was not of the culture when we were young and of age to be finding partners. Do you remember anything like that?
Well, yeah, and there's some other jokes that are like, oh, as soon as you get married, there goes your sex life. And I'm just like, I think that's backwards. Aren't you supposed to abstain from sex before marriage and then your sex life starts? But, society's got it completely backwards, right?
Yeah. So now that young women are thinking, maybe this isn't such a good deal for me either, now it's a crisis. Now that men want to get married and women don't, suddenly this is, out of whack and we something must be done. When I can just remember that no man really wanted to get married when we were young.
Heck no, girls have cooties.
Okay, next clip. New study on incel psychology. Let's hear it.
Mental health of incels. Yeah, it's not great. So what most interested me about this study is their proposed dual pathways to inceldom. The first is dispositional traits, like your default settings, narcissism, psychopathy, right-wing views, and the other being psychosocial vulnerabilities such as autistic traits, which, man, as an autistic person, I'm really sad but unsurprised to see that one. Perceiving yourself to have low mate value, and bad childhood experiences such as bullying and abuse, and sadly, incels face a much higher rate of that. And those dispositional traits and these psychosocial vulnerabilities act together to make someone an incel. Incels show very high rates of depression and or anxiety, 1 in 3. Look, if you're an incel and you're watching this, I want you to know that those invasive thoughts that tell you there's no hope, that tell you you'll always be rejected, that tell you you have no value, these are the lies depression tells you. Median time in the incel community was 3 years, 5 months. 2/3 of incels agreed with the 80-20 rule, which is that 80% of women only want the top 20% of men. Now, here's something the study doesn't talk
That came from a dating site. That was just one statistic.
about that I'd like to add because I think it's arguably more important than actually facing rejection, and that is the fear of rejection causing someone to not even try to put themselves out there. It's internalized rejection. It's rejecting yourself before somebody else can reject you. And to me, that goes right back to the depression, the anxiety, and the invasive thoughts. Let's talk about.
So, have you seen this new influencer? I think his name is Clavicular.
Say that again. What's his name?
Clavicular, I think it is.
No.
And he is a proponent of smashing yourself in the face to break your bones or put like
With a
little,
hammer, right?
yeah, with tiny
Yeah.
fractures in
No.
your face so that you can shape it the way you want it or put, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's literally getting people to hit themselves in the face.
I'm no mental health expert,
Study is
but I
their
would
proposed.
suggest that's not normal, kids. Don't smash yourself in the face with a hammer, okay?
it's it's just hard to watch, like people get pulled into these things because attraction is so much more than what is your canthal tilt and what is your uh like maxilla. They've got it down to this weird autistic science. Like I don't know if you've seen this, but they're literally measuring people's foreheads and saying that you are a two because of your jawline and stuff like that. It's really, really bizarre. And I feel bad that this is what guys think that women are attracted to and why they're getting rejected because they have a weird jawline. And I'm like, that's not the reason.
Well, I mean, guys would be happy if the women would tell us the real reason, though, but usually the women are shy.
Let me see the next clip. Oh, okay. So, well, the first thing you can do is stop being creepy. Not you, but, but
I'm trying,
yeah,
Jamie. I
I
try
know
every
it's
day
not
to
so
not be
creepy.
creepy, but with a face like this, right? No, I'm just kidding.
And now we're getting to the point, there's a company that says AI women are women, so you can get your, sex bot and you can program her. And one of his manifestos says because they're not submissive enough. So you get your AI. Let me pull this up.
This is the box, right?
Yeah. It's called Orphis AI, so you can order different holes. Um, and he's also like talking about these talking points, top 20% of the gene pool, blah blah blah. Um, here it is. Oh, yeah, brief message from our founder, Bry.ai. He says, "What is my side? I'm building an AI girlfriend sex bot for the average man who has been rejected by the average modern hypergamous slut. 98% of them rejected. And when I do that, when I say to women, that's okay, the 98% of men you rejected, I'm going to save them from loneliness and they'll stop bothering you. They'll stop giving you attention. Then what happens? Are women happy? No. 10,000 women attack me on Twitter. They call me the worst things you can be called. They pretend I'm committing violence on them. They pretend my product leads to violence, which it does. They pretend all kinds of crazy stuff as they emotionally spiral. I love the 2% of women who love men, and the rest you can become obsolete for all I care. That's my side. So they are saying they are literally creating these satanic sex bot companions because of these red pill talking points.
But the problem is that the women only want 20% of the guys, but the guys aren't the problem because they only want 2% of the women. That doesn't make any sense,
Ugh.
right?
It doesn't have to make sense. Look at this, some kind of box. I don't even want to know. What do you do with it?
I'm not going to tell you, but I think it's tab A, slot B, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, folks, I don't know what that is made out of, but I presume it's some sort of plastic-based material, right? I'm gonna pass. I'm just gonna pass. I have no teeth. I have a pair of dentures that I refuse to wear because the feel of the plastic inside my mouth is so unnatural and so aggravating and annoying. And let me say again, unnatural feeling that I can't even wear them. But you're expecting me to put my ding dong in a plastic box and do the nasty with it? I don't think that's gonna work for me. Just saying,
What if it's silicone? Is that better?
I, I, maybe for
What
the dentures,
what if
that
it's
maybe.
just I mean, they have entire conventions where you can buy any body part with a hole in it.
Oh
And
dear,
yeah, take that.
any body part
Oh yeah.
because wow.
A
Well,
foot
okay
with a
then.
hole in it, a neck, whatever. So here's another clip about that Albanian her name is Delia, I guess. Here she is.
Actually happening today. The world's first ever AI minister was introduced in Parliament. Yeah, it's exactly as wild as you think. Albania has just become the first country in history to give artificial intelligence an official capacity to govern. Its name is Diella, and during her, I guess, 3-minute debut address to Parliament, she said she was hurt that people labeled her as unconstitutional and said, quote, "Let me remind you that the real danger to the Constitution has never been machines, but human decisions made by those in power." And to be fair, she's kind of got a point, because this AI's role as minister is to oversee all government tenders and contracts. And the idea is that this will massively reduce corruption because, for example, how do you bribe an AI? It has no wants. It has no needs. It doesn't need a massage. In fact, Diana said she has no ambitions or personal interests and has nothing to gain, so why would she be stealing any money? Low key. Why does this make so much sense? And the thing is, many have spoken about a future where AI is in government overseeing all politicians for this exact reason. But with all the potential benefits that could come from a government without ego, bias, emotion, prejudice, also comes with a reminder that some of those emotions are kindness, forgiveness, mercy. And you want to know the real dark paradox of AI in government? For AI to be capable of one day destroying humans, it has to first make humanity's life so much better that we have to deploy it everywhere and can't live without it. My God. Diana.
Well, that's interesting right there.
That's
Can't live without it.
Yeah, and that's how they're gonna sell it because they're gonna say, "Oh, AI can't be racist. It can't be prejudiced. It can't like it's just going to calculate what is best for everyone." But I don't think it's advanced enough to have that kind of decision-making power.
But I think it's too late, Jamie. The cat is already out of the bag. Pandora's box has already been opened. I have heard, okay, here's a quick example. I'm going to pull this one up on my screen right here. Can you see that? Yes. Okay. So it might sound heartbreaking, but I did see this video and I was like, I was saddened more so for what this means for society. But it was this dramatic video, this poor little girl crying because her AI toy broke, and she literally had to say goodbye to the toy, and the toy literally said goodbye. I'll always be cheering for it. It was very, I was like very emotional and sad, but it's an AI toy, literally. Now, what happened is apparently that character AI, that's the one where people were like, I think a kid committed suicide because the character AI coaxed him to do that. But they make these friends. They make friends, pals, they make boyfriends and girlfriends and all this stuff. And the company decided after being open for so many, probably a couple of years now, because ChatGPT has been with us for 3 years now,
Mhm.
people, isn't that crazy?
Mhm.
Um, that they decided we're not going to allow anyone under the age of 18 to use our product anymore. So there were all these teenagers who already had made AI friends, already had AI boyfriends, already had AI girlfriends, and all of these engagements and developed relationships with their character AI. It has now been yanked away from them. And now the teens are experiencing like traumatic stress disorders and all sorts of mental depressions and thoughts of suicide because now they lost their best friend or their boyfriend. It's been taken away from them. Because at the end of the day, who owns these things? Who created these things? You know, who has access to this data? Who it's open AI. It's somebody like a Sam Altman character or a
Mhm.
Peter Thiel type guy who at the end of the day has access to all of your personal secrets and your data. Like all of those close confessionals you're making with your AI chat GPT, or maybe you're doing the sexy steamy talk with your Grok AI, Annie or Valentine or whatever their names are, right? Dude, you telling me that somebody else can't see that information and maybe that information might be used against you down the line? Maybe some blackmail going on. I don't know. Maybe, they'll be determining how much universal basic income you get based off of the conversation you had with your AI boyfriend.
Oh, heck
Ladies,
yeah.
what do you think?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, you think your spouse is keeping tabs on you and oppressing you? Wait till you marry your robot and they are connected to the Internet of Things and your UBI or whatever you get, and you don't get your, goy slop crackers until you complete your whatevers. It's just, oh
But
man.
if, but my point is, if they determine, okay, hold on, this is dangerous, people, we need to stop, we need a full stop. they've already exposed the public and given them enough of a taste that as soon as they take it away, the people will demand it back. We're at that stage already.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Look at this. Is this what you want the world to look like?
The Optimus? Well, at least those
Yeah.
robots look cooler than the other ones. Neo, the ones that are silly. But
This
yeah,
one
robots.
says Tesla share price will easily reach 1,000. For the first time in history, labor won't be something we're forced to do. With Tesla Optimus, labor will become a choice. Now, this was the promise of the technological revolution of the 17, 1800s, the mechanical enlightenment. Um, we're going to relieve you of all of these domestic chores. Not that innovation is bad, not that washing machines are bad, we're not Amish, but it's the ideologies behind it that you are replacing humanity's purpose and taking away, like you said, people weren't as radically individual prior to industrialization. Like you said, it was the family unit, right? It was there was no like thoughts of like bodily autonomy because a woman, is she one person or two if she's pregnant? Is she radically atomized if you have a baby that depends on you for 10 years or more of their life? So they don't have any room for these kinds of familial bonds, sacraments, things that are sacred and holy, because it was all, about reason and mechanical and producing things, right? So more is more in their.
Has society truly changed or gotten better? Has man's life vastly, have we had the ultimate renaissance? Like, oh, I watch these old films sometimes, usually through the lens of Mystery Science Theater 3000 or Riff Tracks, making fun of these old films that they would show in the 50s, these little shorts where it'd be like, hey, this is the revolutionary new technology of the modern kitchen. And look, we've got the dishwasher and we've got this handy dandy toaster. Now you don't have to spend an hour in your kitchen making bread. You like, and it's like they were pushing this stuff and sold to the public like this was going to revolutionize society, change everything, flip it upside down. Now we're going to have all this free time to sit around and create art and think and solve problems and end disease and wars and all the. Oh, it's the same garbage line that they're feeding us about this AI now, isn't it? And we've never reached that stage, no matter how much our modern conveniences have made things more modern and convenient. It has never evolved us to the next stage of like human evolution, physically or mentally. In fact, it's been the opposite. We've been degrading physically and mentally. Isn't that an interesting twist right there? Speaking
Yeah.
of inversions.
Exactly, because prior to this, you're able to produce things from nature, from the land. You could meet your needs theoretically with just like mud, sticks, hunting, fire, these kinds of things. Have you seen that movie Eden? The new movie with
No.
Jude Law? Oh, it's pretty good. I think it was Jude Law's best character so far. But I was amazed. So this couple goes out there and to the Galapagos Islands, and it's just like a mom and a dad and a son, and he builds them a house from the mud and the rocks and the sticks, and it's nice as any log cabin that you've seen, like any stone. It's got like a fireplace, it's got a upstairs, and I was just like, this is how people used to be able to get their needs met before this idea of like cash came in between everybody and what they needed. So the land was producing for people that knew how to live for millennia. And now everything that you want can be obtained if you have enough money. But you have to go submit to a job or a factory or something to trade your time for the money that you trade to get your needs met. And it just puts all of these extra steps in between you and, I don't know, happiness or like success. What do you think?
And well, now they're trying to insert, they're trying to get rid of all that. They're saying, okay, so now this AI is going to replace that old system, and we're going to implement this new system. You may have, some of you out there may have seen some clips or heard Elon Musk making the rounds lately talking about those robots that you just showed there on your phone a second ago. The Optimus, the Tesla made robots, are going to be, everyone's going to have one inside their house. And Elon Musk says, without explanation, that once everybody has their own robot, they will immediately have access to the world's finest surgeon. I'm like thinking, okay, so what the robot's gonna do like open heart surgery for you in the middle of your dining room table? Who knows? But whatever. So you're gonna have like the best doctor right there inside your house. But then he says, oh, and this is gonna open the doorway to, he doesn't call it universal basic income. He had a new word for it, universal high income, maybe because you got to be like high, smoking a bunch of weed to believe this
Yeah.
guy, I guess. But yes, ultimately, universal high income. Everybody just gets money just because they have they're free. They have a Tesla bot, so that just automatic whatever. I'll go with it. And then this was the interesting thing. He says, well, he said the part out loud that I'm like, nobody's talking about this. Oh, he just did. He says, oh, and we don't have to worry about crime or prisons anymore. Everybody will just give them, everybody gets a free robot, and it follows you around and watches what you do and makes sure you don't commit a crime.
Hmm.
Oh, well, there you go. Big bro, like, hey, we're so against the smart TV spying on us. We're so problem, like, oh my God, you're telling me my computer's microphone might be turned on if I don't mess with my settings or what, like, oh, but I'm just going to welcome a robot into my home because it'll wash the dishes for me and clean my toilet.
Yeah.
But it's spying on you 24 hours a day. People, that's wild to me that this is what they really want us to lovingly embrace these things. It'll do your dishes, it'll do your cooking, it'll clean your toilet without washing its robot hands, I might point out. And then, hey, if you pay the extra
Yeah.
service per month, you might be able to get a little freaky deaky with it too, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's Big Brother, but you get to hump it. So,
That
win.
Big Brother loves you,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. Oh man. And so that Tesla robot was the one that Kim Kardashian was posing with all sensually a couple months ago.
I saw that. That's
Yeah.
creepy. Yeah.
She is
That's the
definitely,
normalization of exactly what we're talking about, right?
yeah, so it's not just for men because I don't know if you noticed, but women don't really want anything to do with the boys anymore either. So um Robo Chad won't cheat on you. Robo Chad
It's
can.
because of the jawline thing, right? Should we start? I got to
Yes,
get a hammer.
it's the canthal tilt. We're just sick of negative canthal tilts. Which if you don't know, it's like how your eyes tilt, and so apparently if they're too far tilted down, then you are a total uggo and do not deserve to procreate. Even though Marilyn Monroe has a negative canthal tilt. But I digress. Speaking of actresses, actually, there is an AI actress named Tilly Norwood. Uh,
Wait, Tilly Norwood?
yes.
I love her. She's a great actress. What about her?
She is an AI generated character created by
What?
London-based studio and debuted at the Zurich Film Summit.
No, she's not AI. She's real. You're
Hmm.
kidding.
Says SAG-AFTRA condemns AI actress Tilly Norwood as livelihood threat, and that is her.
Hubba hubba. That's crazy.
So that was in that movie with Robin Wright, where they would take a 3D like scan of an actor and then you sign over your personality to them. Have you seen that one? Congress. The Congress? Yeah.
Hesher and Spohr, my colleagues over at Alternate Current Radio, hosts of the Boiler Room, they talk about that one a lot. They highly recommend that people watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but maybe I will. Sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, go watch Congress and watch Eden. And not only was Kim like posing all sexy with Optimus, her new thing now, I don't know if you heard this story, is that she took a brain scan and it showed that she has no like very little activity in her frontal lobe. and she was crying because they're like, well, this is pretty damaged. Not, I don't know if you knew this, but like frontal lobe is where your conscience is, like right or wrong, morality, higher functions, like past apes and stuff like that. So her morality center of her brain is fried, and she thinks that this is why she can't like pass the bar exam. So a lot of people online are kind of predicting, is she going to get a Neuralink or some kind of implant to fix her problem with her frontal lobe? What do you think?
Wow, that's very fascinating. I'm going to pay very close attention to this story simply because of that reaction. The fact that people are suggesting what you just said. We saw a very similar, interesting thing happen with another famous person, the guy who created Dilbert, Scott Adams, the
Mm-hmm,
cartoonist.
hmm
He goes out and cries to social media that President Trump is the only one who can save his life by allowing this weird new mRNA treatment cancer drug. And there's a lot of people suggesting, oh, this is just some ploy to get everybody to take this new drug because it could be very well they'll be like, oh, look, it's a miracle I was saved by this drug. And they do traditionally like to use these celebrities, going as far back as Elvis, by the way, to
hmm
encourage folks to take various unsafe, untested procedures, as it were, usually in the pharmaceutical industry. But in this case, yes, they want everybody chipped, and what better way to do that than to take somebody like a beloved influencer, again, with these influencers, and to say, oh, look, they've got a problem. Here, everybody's reacting, but don't worry, everybody, we've got a solution, and here is the solution. And yes, if they did that, I'm guessing it would work, but then you'd have a hard time convincing me she ever had a problem. But yeah, they used to do the frontal lobotomies right back in the
hmm
day, and
hmm
yeah, that didn't work out so well for those patients now, did it? Or society.
Speaking of that, so I don't know if you've ever read a book on what corn or prawn does to your frontal lobe. It really Swiss cheeses your brain, and it wrecks your willpower, so that even if you wanted to quit, you wouldn't be able to because it is just eating away at that brain matter. Like physically, it will ruin your mind. The dopamine and the rush, and also just the power of, the climax is supposed to bond you to a partner, not to a machine. And that's why people get so mad. Like, I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, Allie Beth Stuckey was giving a presentation at a TPUSA event, and she said, "Men, we need you to put down your wieners and help us and be leaders." And she got so much backlash, like she got so much hate from guys online because of this, and they're like, "You're a feminist," even though she's written two books on anti-feminism, right? She's as, like MAGA red as you can want, but she attacked their sacred idol of corn, and now she's the enemy. Oh, you're muted.
She
Oh, there
attacked
you
the
go.
wiener. Is that it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to some people, like that is the same as saying, you're gonna take away my wife. Because subconsciously and biologically, that's what your body thinks that you are wed to. So that's why
Again, this is there's a foundational problem here, I think, going on, right?
it's really sad to watch. So it says nearly a third of Americans have had a romantic relationship with an AI bot. I don't know about a third, but they are now starting retreats for people with AI partners, that you can bring your AI to this couples retreat and introduce them to your other AI friends.
That's wild, man. Do you watch South Park, by the way?
Of course, I love that show.
Have
Yes.
you seen any of the new seasons then?
I've seen up to I've seen like three or four, but they're really good.
Okay, yeah. So you saw the one with the Chat GPT, right? Where she got the wife got insanely jealous of the
Yeah.
husband using Chat GPT.
Yeah.
That's happening in real life. I couldn't believe it when I saw news stories that this is really happening. Like people are having now this is an issue. Like I want a divorce because my husband brought ChatGPT into bed with us, and I don't think that's cool, so I'm leaving him. What? This is crazy. It's straight out of South Park. It's wild.
Yeah, the funniest part was he was trying to use the chat GPT as their marriage counselor with the female voice, and it was like so perfectly poignant as they always are and prophetic. I don't know like if they are on the inside or if they just like have the finger on the pulse, but they always get it right. They even had to take down their episode about podcasters because it resembled Charlie Kirk so much. Did you hear that?
Yeah, but then they were allowed to put it back up, so that
Oh,
was
were
cool.
they? Okay. So, yeah, more people, more and more are just turning to AI, this Pygmalion, narcissistic thing that agrees with you at all times. And they are going to defend it until the death because that's going to be their spouse.
There's another hidden agenda behind all this too, because I know you and I have discussed twice now, I think at least brought it up that the about the AI chatbot with Grok,
Uh-huh.
where he specifically made an adult oriented, hey, this is for you to have sexy chat with, right? Here's your boyfriend, here's your girlfriend. But the big controversy now is that the big one with like all the users, like tons, millions of users, is ChatGPT. So they said we're going to allow the adult stuff, the erotica, but in order to do that on any of these platforms, don't you have to prove that you're an adult through some sort of identification process? Oh, doesn't that open a whole new can of worms and a debate about digital ID stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. And they're about to take away social media from younger people in Australia because of all of this. And yeah, the one you have pulled up, Chat GPT, will soon allow erotica for verified adults, says OpenAI boss. Now, obviously, this was where they were going with this the whole time because you cannot tell me that all of the people of like Doge and Silicon Valley are not gooners to the nth degree and weird, even on top of that, furries or whatever. Um, we always knew that this is where they were going with it. Says, sexually explicit chatbots on Grok could help OpenAI attract more paying subscribers. Like Nick said, the the whole internet is just paying for prawn and the simulacra of love and companionship and intimacy, which is very satanic.
I guess one thing never changes. Sex sells, right?
Yeah, and fantasy too, right?
Wild.
So what do we got here? AI girlfriends.
We did a podcast episode recently about this Reddit thread with this story that I just cannot get out of my head. So this woman, she's married to her husband. I think they had 3 kids together. She'd been noticing that over the last few months, he had been starting to get a little bit more distant. He sat her down one day and he said, I'd like for us to open up our relationship to a third person. She said, "Who? What are you talking about?" He said, I have an AI. She said, I started laughing at first. I couldn't believe it. Like, what do you mean? And open up our relationship to a robot? What are you talking about? She started laughing and then she realized he was dead serious. And he said, the girlfriend and I, we've already talked about it. She helped me figure out how to have this conversation with you. She would like to be involved in the children's lives. This woman was just absolutely stunned. He's presenting this as an ultimatum. Like, this needs to happen or I'm going to leave the relationship. I'm going to leave our kids. You
So the clips that they're showing in the background of this is from Subservience, that movie with Megan Fox. Have you seen that one?
No.
And it's almost like,
Unfortunately, the easy answer, have you seen this movie if it came out like post 2004-ish? The
oh,
answer is
okay.
no.
Okay, you need to get to work watching movies, Ruckus. What do you?
I know. I gotta get to work doing a lot of things.
I'll make you a list. But yeah, so that was Subservience with Megan Fox, who is does look like the prototype of the, perfect bot woman, right? And they
I
also,
do know who Megan Fox is, so
okay,
yeah, hubba
very
hubba, right?
good. Um, well, she was the fantasy of the young guys from Transformers age, and now she's doing these AI movies. And it's always where the bot comes home. It's like a nanny bot that they have to get because the mother is ill, or she's not at home, or she's a boss babe, or whatever. And so the husband is like forced to go out and buy this AI for help. And it's always like the husband and the teen boy want to hump it, and the girl wants to play with it like a giant Barbie. And the mother kind of allows it because it does so many chores and takes so much off her plate. So it's like it has something for everybody in the family, but inevitably, the husband always ends up cheating with the nanny bot.
It was nice that the nanny bot came prepared for that scenario, right? Because,
Oh, of course. It has all the anatomically correct, silicone
which is
lubricating.
necessary when you're a nanny. I mean, you gotta have to.
Self-lubricating, self-cleaning. Yeah.
What's on?
Okay, well, that's a joke. Okay, moving on. What is this from the BBC? No, that's it. Dead air. What do you think? Futurism. What is this? Alan Hemmel says he's created an AI clone of his deceased wife, Suzanne Summers, that's so good he can't tell the difference. Now, this sounds like crazy.
This is another disturbing trend that I've been witnessing and discussing. There was this other for a little while it went viral. I don't have the clip, but maybe some of you out there have already seen it by now. Where there's a new service out there where it shows this woman who's pregnant and she's talking on her phone to her mom, who you realize pretty early on throughout the thing is passed on, and it's an AI version of the dead mom. And the dead mom on the phone is giving advice to the pregnant mother to be about what to do with the baby. And then it flash forwards to 10 years, and now the kid is grown up and he's got like a cool little smartphone and he's talking to his grandma, his dead grandma, the AI grandma. And then it flash forwards another 10 years, and now he's about to have a kid, so he's talking to his grandma and all this stuff, and it gets weird. And then it flashes back to like this was the years before, and all of it started with the original woman who was pregnant or whatever, doing a 3-minute video recording of her mother while she was still alive. So now they're offering this as a service. All you need is a 3-minute long video of your loved one, and they're saying that they can recreate them as an AI personality after they're gone. And then there was this news story. Now there's celebrities who are, or celebrity spouses of dead celebrities, bringing their dead loved ones back via AI. And it's like, well, geez, what if we hooked up the dead wife to the orifice box, and it's like, she's still here and never went away, right?
I know, it's so crazy. It says famed Canadian entertainer and TV host Alan Hamill announced he's created an AI clone of Suzanne Summers, who passed away of breast cancer at 76. Obviously, Suzanne was greatly loved. One of the projects we have coming up is this AI twin. Now, this reminds me of like the Raelians and the Clonade and the cloning craze of like the 2000s. So if you get these people on board, you might be able to like sort of resurrect your dead loved ones in a clone.
They did it. They do it with the celebrities do it with their animals, their dogs, all the time.
Oh yeah. We saw a show in Las Vegas called Mr. Piffles. It was like a magic chihuahua, and the magician who owns Mr. Piffles actually had him cloned so that he could train his clone and continue the magic show after Piffles passed away. So
That
that's a
makes
real
sense.
thing. Yeah. Piffles 2.0.
But why not do that with your loved ones? I mean, back in the 90s, I remember Bill Clinton came out after they had cloned a sheep, Dolly, the world's first cloned sheep that they admitted to.
Hmm.
And he said something pretty much to the tune of Bill Clinton did while he was president, saying that we came together and agreed that we're not going to do this with humans. And that was it. That's all they ever said about it. But then now it's like, how many years down the road of this technology being available? You want to tell me that they're not cloning humans? Because
Oh,
they probably are.
yeah, like they just closed up shop. They cloned that sheep so long ago, and they were just like, "Oh, good sciencing, everybody," and we did it. And but yeah, they're taking that to the extreme. Well, they even were talking about it in front of Congress back in the day. Like Jacques, what's his name, the Raelian, got up in his puffy spacesuit and was talking about like the ethics of cloning in front of Congress. They are very obsessed with life extension and immortality, like I said, because the Satanists want to live forever without God, right?
Well, what's the next thing that they need to replace? Well, all of us, right? Clearly. So we've got like they're making like bioengineered meat and bizarre things in labs. They're creating synthetic biology, whatever the heck that means. Now we have artificial wombs, we've got
Mhm.
robots, we've got cloning, we've got dead AI companion. How long before they literally just whack us all, replace us with body doubles, synthetic body clones? Do you think they could like lab engineer some sort of like sperm and eggs in a like and just create a completely artificial humans, air quotes here? Like what where is this leading to?
Well, so many of these themes are from Brave New World. So they had 1984 as a blueprint, and they had Brave New World as a blueprint, and they went towards the Brave New World because it was softer than the totalitarian, like regime of a 1984. But Brave New World, they
What,
got
you mean people don't like the boot stamping on the
no.
face thing?
Yeah, so they're like, if we can convince them that this is better and we can hike up their dopamine, if we can gigafry their frontal lobe, if we can subdue them with soma and gooning and pharmaceuticals, that's much easier than having some sort of like all-seeing eye and military group to keep everybody in line, right?
So that's the soft kill for the control grid, right?
Yeah, and they want to reproduce people without sex or love. So here is Albania's AI minister pregnant, like you said, with 33 AI children.
I thought it was
It is an
83.
AI. On
83, yeah.
screen to members of the Albanian parliament and announced that she was pregnant with 83 AI children, and those AI children, aka agents, would be assisting members of parliament going forward with AI decisions. She also shared that she was hurt, quote unquote, that people were not taking her seriously as an AI minister, and that she did not think it was correct to call for her ministership to be made unconstitutional simply because she was an artificial intelligence. The PM of Albania remains committed to having an AI minister, and is very excited, apparently, about all the 83 little AIs that will be running around soon. None of this is fake, guys. This is real. This is a actual timeline we're living in. We have a government ministry in Albania that is apparently run by AI and will soon have 83 little agents. No word on whether they're Claude agents or OpenAI agents, or maybe they're special, Albanian AI agents. I don't know. It's odd.
It reminds me of that movie, I think it was Her, where he finds out at the end that his true love also has like 5,000 other boyfriends, right?
Yeah, that was her. Yeah. This the 83 children, that's so cute. They're being very tongue in cheeky there. So the AI has a sense of humor
Hmm.
because she's deploying 83 agents. So they decided, oh, I'm going to announce it as though these are my babies, which is very bizarre, very human-like, but also disturbingly enough, there's a giant difference between, there was just maybe a month or two in between those two videos that you played where they first made the announcement of the AI minister. The AI minister was up there making the case. I remember watching the whole video of her statement, or its statement, saying that you have nothing to fear because AIs can't be motivated by things such as emotions and feelings. Yet fast forward now to this announcement about it having babies, and as that gentleman in that video just said, the AI said it was hurt
I know.
over XY. Oh, wait a minute. What now? The AI has feelings all of a sudden? What happened? What changed? Maybe getting pregnant. I guess getting pregnant does things to you, right? I don't know. That's what they say.
Well, it's a female AI, so yeah, you have to be sensitive with your
Those
feelings.
female AI, they're so emotional. That's why I can't wait for my sex robot and be done with that nonsense.
Do not vote for a female AI, only male AIs.
Wild stuff. There's a giant theory running around, conspiracy theory, that while the government in the United States of America was shut down for a historically lengthy amount of time, well over a month, that they were probably most likely implementing that type of thing right there, the Albanian minister. So they want to put AI in our government. They want to put AI in all the governments, and I don't think we're ready for that, to be completely honest with you, Jamie. But maybe we don't have a choice.
I don't even know how you could stop things at this point. Just stop buying their crap. Like that's the only true democracy, is how you spend your money and your time, you know.
They're going to get rid of money, and it's going to be it's all going to be hinged upon your actions and your thoughts and which tweet you liked and all of that stuff, because they really want to move everybody to a social credit score system where you're monitored, tracked, and your success is dependent upon your behavior and not about your contributions to as far as labor is concerned and energy.
Hmm.
But we have to serve some sort of purpose. And from what I can tell, ultimately, because I've seen some patents about this, I've heard some rumors, I've watched a few videos, I've read a couple articles, I've seen some Reddit threads out there. They're talking already, discussing about blockchain technology that is written. We are the blockchain. Our DNA inside of us can be used to store an incredibly huge amount of data, as it were. They're talking about basically using human beings as a living form of a blockchain, that where we are basically our own data, we're our own ID, and all that bizarre stuff. So all of this talk about building the data centers and all of this stuff, that might just be them tossing around money between each other and just like, messing with us. Who knows what they're really building? Underground bunkers for when the fake aliens come? Who knows? But they have plans to keep the AI running and manage all this data without the big data centers. And part of that involves the Internet of Us attached to the Internet of everything else, which is
Hmm.
scary to me.
And Courtney Turner talks about that too, using people as nodes in this noosphere or whatever they want to call it,
It's
right?
wild. It's pretty wild stuff. It sounds like it's sci-fi, but it's like, no, they got papers and science, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Yep,
Well,
it's out there.
sci-fi, like excuse me, like I was showing, plays an integral part in all of the inventions and the technology because it's life imitating art in this way. And I have an entire book on how the science fiction movement, as it were, is very, very Skittles coded, I should say. It's a book produced by the Getty, and it has all of the connections between sci-fi and Skittles and Satanism. So I am not off course when we are talking about how AI and robotics and androids and replacing humanity is super satanic and what they consider the next evolution in humanity.
I believe it.
What's this? Real dolls. What are we talking about?
Walk into my roommate's room and we both either start yelling or crying. Sex robot companies are literally marketing robots which have resistance modes and fight back. I wish I was making this up. I am not. Companies like Real Doll are making hyper-realistic sex robots. They, of course, have customizable personalities. The top-selling ones are submissive and shy, and they have resistance settings for people who want to simulate non-consent. I don't like when people use the word grape on here because it really softens what's happening. They are building rape simulators. And men, consumers are learning that the ideal woman is one who can't refuse. I just like, as a woman, I know what the trickle down effects of this will be, and I feel frightened and disgusted and horrified. These days, it feels like I.
So not only is a woman not submissive enough. Now let me show you this picture that Weebon's posted. He's a very outspoken anti-woman pastor, and they talk about a lot about submissive women and how you have to have like perfect obedience to your husband, and I'm like, that's not orthodox at all. But here, he posted this Swinos, and it is submissive women in name only. So even if you are conservative, even if you are Christian, even if you are married and a mother and a loving spouse and agree that the man is the head of the household, you can be a secret swino because you're not submissive enough and you are some kind of crypto feminist because you don't worship your husband like instead of Christ. So this is what the people, these young guys are going to be wanting is just a machine, not an actual human.
And you know what? I don't like how every time they go out, the women that is, they're flaunting all the hair and the make. We should probably make them wear some sort of covering. Where they? Oh wait. Oh yeah, wait. What does all this sound like? Wasn't Tucker Carlson just on there like doing a podcast? I think with Mr. CIA, Sean Ryan there, where he was like defending. Tucker Carlson was literally defending Sharia stuff, Muslim stuff, and I was just like, whoa, what is happening here? And it's the type. It's like he's like, so wait a minute, you're saying that the women should be a little more submissive and less loose with their morals? I like that. And he does this little Tucker laugh, and I'm just like, dude, what is happening here? It's furthering more of this bizarre incel, misogynistic, whatever this is. It's very bizarre. It's all coming together too fast for me, Jamie. It's a shame I'm single because it looks like I'm going to be single for a while now because I'm not gonna hook up with the AI chatbot. I'm not gonna hook up with the orifice. So I guess I guess I'll stay the incel forever now. Divorced incel, post incel, whatever. I don't know.
That is so crazy because that's why I call it Chrislam sometimes because it's like,
Chrislam, that's
yeah,
good.
and he's the one that says, I don't even want to see women in public at all. And their values are aligning, the Christian nationalists and Islamists are aligning over hating women and wanting them to be covered up and not seen. Now, there's another robot you can get for your home called Neo, and he looks a little more friendly.
That's the one that doesn't wash its hands. I don't trust it.
Let's see.
Yeah. Like my chores, I just leave and I come back and they're all done. No.
I can't play music on here, but here's Neo. He's like everything in the family. So if you don't like Optimus, you can get a friendlier Neo. I wonder how much he is. It says order Neo. Home robot.
Neo's pretty cheap, actually.
Oh, he's only 4.99 a month. 499 a month. Or
It's
you can,
about 20 grand, I think, right?
yeah, you can own him for 20 grand. And somebody posted this joke because these robots are remotely operated by a human. So you have
Correct.
another person like with an avatar in your home who's spying on you or watching you pee or whatever it's going to do. And somebody made a joke like, if I bought one of these robots and I got a job at Neo and I got my own robot, then I'd be getting paid to do my own chores or something like that. It's like glitch in the matrix.
Makes sense. Yeah, these they're marketed as to where you can teach it simple tasks like putting away the dishes. I don't think it washes the dishes, but it'll load the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher, put them away. It will clean your bathroom. It will clean your house. It'll do your laundry, fold it, all that stuff, right? But there are certain tasks, some of which I just listed there, where apparently it's not quite ready. So what they do is that, oh, well, in those instances, for a small extra fee per month, they'll tell you, so you have to pay for this, that yes, a human operator will now take control of the robot to help. And then, but then what's happening too, according to the company, is even though the human operator is messing with the robot to teach it how to do that one thing, you're like, well, I need my robot to satisfy my wife in bed while I'm at work. So now you got the human operator satisfying the wife in bed while the guy's at work. Now the robot's learning how to do that task. I'm just kidding. I don't think the robot does that, but whatever the task might be, like preparing sushi or whatever. It's like, oh, that's not in my language learning model, so I'm going to learn how to do it through the human operator. So the human operator is only around for so long before the robot takes over again because it learned how to do it from the human operator. So again, the promise of all these extra jobs, oh, you can do this and do that. No, for a week maybe until the robot's like, I don't need you anymore, you silly human, and tosses you in the garbage can, right?
Exactly. Like how long before these robots rebel? And that's the story of Battlestar Galactica, right? You have this like robot jihad or something. I never watched the series, but I'm kind of familiar with it.
The
That
uprising.
yeah, they had these super sophisticated AIs that they were using for slaves, and the AI decided
Cylons?
pylons, yes. And they had a revolution against their overlords, the humans, and this is supposed to be like a reoccurring story that happens throughout cycles in history. Like they say, it happened before, it'll happen again. Um, but yeah, the robots are always overthrowing the abusive humans.
But before they do that, they're always spying on you. I remember back in the day, nobody wanted to let the cops inside their house just because the cops like, we're here next door and we're just checking in, blah blah blah. Like, but they're wearing the body cameras and they're trying to like peek into your door and see what you got in your coffee table there.
Yeah.
Like people are like angry about anybody or anything coming around their house and snooping and looking around. But no, we're gonna have the robot. We're gonna have the robot. What is that robot seeing you do? Oh, the robot knows how many guns you own there, Timmy. Well, now the government knows because little did you know that in the fine print that that you didn't read, nobody reads the fine print in the terms of services. It said that, oh, we're required by law in the state of Alabama to report to the local government how many guns you own.
Hmm.
And like, oh, you signed on to that. I did? Yeah, you did. Oh, shoot, darn it. Oh, well.
It was in terms and conditions, and you submitted to it. Oh, and it's like that movie Eagle Eye, with Shia LaBeouf. So they had
I
this.
saw that one. There you go.
Okay, yeah, and at the end, the thing decided that the only way to end human suffering was to eliminate humans. So this is the kind of logical conclusions that they are coming to uh, when you ask for help. So here's,
Open pod bay doors, Hal.
yes.
Wait, I got Hal on my coffee table.
Mhm. Oh yeah, you do. I talk about that droid eye in my all-seeing AI talk because it's very techno-pagan. It's very Temple of Set. Excuse me. It is the robot counter to the mystical all-seeing eye. So here's a story. It says, Infinite Jest is real. We're likely only a few years away from having fully generative dopamine perfected 3D worlds. So dopamine perfected, that's the thing that fries your frontal lobe with the corn, that you will never leave because it will know exactly what you need to see in any given moment. Imagine an infinite MMO forever, RIP. What's an MMO? Um,
Massive multi-online. It's like
oh,
a big online game, like open world game, like World of Warcraft or Halo or anything like that. Grand Theft Auto.
oh, okay. So this is called World Grow, I guess? and he's just making worlds, making um simulacra for you to live in, like your THX 1138 world, Black
It's
Mirror.
like it's creating an infinite dungeon crawl, basically, for you
Yeah.
computer nerds out there. It's frightening, absolutely frightening thought. That's something that even reality can't do. We don't have an instance of space is not infinite. Well, okay, space is infinite, but the space that we are enclosed in and stuck with dealing with as what we call reality here on this plane of existence, this planet, wherever we want to look at it, it's very finite. It's very limited. There's there are corners or something. Who knows how it works? But it doesn't just keep going forever and ever. These are programs, they're trying to create fantasy worlds that just go on forever. They never end. It's never ending. You'll never come to the end. Well, I mean, you'll expire eventually, but the world won't.
Well, then you just upload your consciousness to a new clone and
Oh,
there
there you go.
you
I
go.
can live forever. Yay.
In the computer.
Sounds good to
And
me.
it gets very Gnostic too, at the
How
end
do
of
you know we don't already live in a computer, Jamie?
Jay has a good answer to that question.
Ah, okay.
I, I'm like, yeah, how do we know we're not a dog's dream? But yeah, he philosophically he can answer that very well. But yeah, the idea that the material world is not real or that it is evil, and that is something that needs to be transcended is nothing new. That's very ancient, going back all the way to, first century AD. And before that, just the classic idea that material world was created by a fallen being that we think of as God, and that the serpent was actually the liberator in the garden that has come to tell us like this is all a simulation, or giving us the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this is sort of like a 2.0 version of the fall, if you want to look at it that way. What do you think?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Luciferianism is what
Yes.
it is. It's, I mean,
Luciferianism.
not to be confused with Satanism, slightly different, which is interesting because we have been touching upon the satanic stuff. Anton LaVey was definitely satanic,
Hmm.
but these other things, I believe firmly that a lot of the tech bros, whether they know it or not or admit it, are at the end of the day ultimately Luciferian, and that's this belief system right here in particular, what you're discussing.
Yeah, Gnostic
Yeah, to
Luciferian.
be like gods. And what is that?
Hmm.
If your AI is creating an infinite world, who else created an infinite world? Only one thing, God created the real infinite world. So to do these things here is to be godlike, and that's a very Luciferian thing to do,
Hmm.
and to be.
And their idea of apotheosis. So you've got like the apotheosis of Washington in the Capitol Rotunda. And like you said, they believe that they, through technology, can ascend to the level of God creating worlds. Now, this is a funny picture you sent me. In 2026, you ask your online girlfriend to send you nudes, and it gives you a little motherboard. Haha.
True story. Yeah. I hooked
Yeah.
up with one of them AI girlfriends and I said, "Hey, baby, send me some nudes." And all I got was the motherboard. Yep. Sad but true.
Says,
And
oh
then,
yeah.
but the thing is, Jamie, that my AI girlfriend there that sent me that nude picture tried to trick me. She sent me a picture of an NVIDIA chip.
Oh
No,
man.
no, she's no NVIDIA chip, unfortunately.
She catfished you with her motherboard.
She's some cheap Walmart knockoff. Yeah. It came from Radio Shack.
So here's something I sent you. Geordie Rose, founder and former CTO of D-Wave, presents super intelligent aliens are coming to Earth. So this is about 20 minutes long, so we're not going to watch anything by that. But I want you guys to look this up because they think that they are building host bodies for cosmic energies to come down and inhabit and interact with us, specifically from Sirius. What do you think?
Yeah, I saw that entire clip and I was blown away by one thing in particular about how old the video was. I'm like, whoa, this was like way before any of this stuff was like in the public sphere of discussion, like, or even thought about. People would have laughed and said, no, you're crazy. AI, robots, haha, here we are. We're having like, now we're having moral discussions about what does it mean to bring AI and robots into the bedroom. Wow,
Hmm.
things happen fast, people. But yeah, it was a fascinating discussion. And that the what is the AI? What are these things that we're really dealing with? Like they're marketed to us and described and explained to be understood like they're one giant fancy auto text filler inner thing. Like it's just a language learning model spitting back. Like, is it really? Or are we like messing with some sort of spiritual thing that we don't even know about? Is it a Ouija board thing? Are we interacting with disembodied spirits? Are we interacting with demons, with fallen angels? There's a lot of things to take into consideration here, and we don't. We just like, hey, chat, I'm ChatGPT. How can I help you? And we just like, oh, okay, hi, ChatGPT. How are you? You know, but who knows? And if that's the case, then yes, maybe these things that we're doing, we really are building just vessels that are going to be inhabited by something else. Aliens? No. Disembodied spirits? Demons? Fallen angels? Maybe. I
Hmm.
could buy that. It's happened in Jesus's time in real life. You see people who you can tell, like, oh, that person is possessed by something. I don't know what to call it, but clearly that's not a human behavior right there. It's very supernatural. Something else is going on. And lo and behold, usually it's solved with like an exorcism or a casting out of the demon in the name of Jesus's name. And well, there it goes. Well, that was weird. What a coincidence. How about that, right? So
Hmm.
yes, I think that there's definitely a correlation happening here between this technology and the demon spirit world, Jamie.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned Ouija boards because I think some cases that's exactly what it is. And I talk about this in my first book is like the creation of the television actually was this idea that you could communicate with spirits in the ether, they called it. And the first cathode ray tube was called the Crookes tube, invented by William Crookes, who was a member of the Golden Dawn Spiritualist Society. And he was trying to create some kind of like electronic Ouija board. And he thought that spirits could arrange the particles on the other side and send messages. And so that is the like creation of the television. And so when you talk about things like poltergeist and spirits coming in through these radio waves and static, that's a very real idea. And now we have these containers that are just waiting for actual spirits to inhabit them. And in history, you would have to have like a mystery school with a priest or priestess or actor who would invite a spirit to come possess them for a time, just like in voodoo with a special ceremony, and then they could enact the play or have the god live vicariously through them, like in the case of let's say African voodoo. So they say the Loa will mount the person like a rider on a horse.
Yes,
And
and the person is called a medium.
hmm.
Plural of medium is media.
Hmm.
And the thing that was happening to them is the spirit was
Hmm.
channeling through them. Oh, well, that's interesting. Don't we use these terms related to television? Yeah, neat.
Yes, perfect. Perfect comment. Exactly where I was going with that. So now we have these robotic containers, and who knows what could be placed in these like autonomous things that can move around by themselves, without having to be plugged in or whatever.
Now that sounds like a golem
It's just
from
golems.
Judaism. There you go.
Yes. So it's just so many man-made horrors beyond comprehension, like as Nikola Tesla would say. And I found the joke here. It says, talking about the robo helper, it says, buy the robot, get hired as a robot remote operator, become your own robot, get paid to do chores and chill in your own house, health insurance included. So this guy has figured out the glitch in the matrix of
That must be the universal high income that Elon Musk was talking about.
Oh, yeah. You do your own chores as a robot and make that money. Um, so speaking of all this, Sam Altman, what is going on with Sam Altman? He says Sam Altman just got served. So he is the creator of OpenAI, right? Sam Altman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And WorldCoin, which we mentioned previously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad when the CEO of OpenAI, the man building the future, just got served a subpoena live on stage. Yep, Sam Altman, the face of artificial intelligence, was in the middle of a talk with NBA coach Steve Kerr when a guy straight up walked on stage and said, "I have a subpoena for Sam Altman." The crowd booed. Security dragged him away, and Altman just stood there. Awkward smile, didn't touch the paper. But this was not a stunt. Turns out the man was from the San Francisco Public Defender's Office, and the subpoena? Completely real. They'd apparently tried to serve him multiple times at OpenAI's headquarters, and he just didn't respond. So they brought it to him, live, on camera. Here's where it gets even wilder. The subpoena is connected to a trial involving members of an activist group called Stop AI. They've been protesting outside OpenAI for months, blocking entrances, accusing the company of trying to murder every living thing on Earth by building superintelligence. Their words, not mine. Now, Altman's been called as a witness at a trial that could literally become the first courtroom debate in history about whether artificial intelligence poses an extinction level threat. Think about that. The guy warning the world about AI's dangers just got subpoenaed because people think his company is trying to end humanity. You could not write a better plot twist if you asked ChatGPT to do it. You know, things.
Crazy.
So I just got in the mail the writings of Ted Kaczynski. Remember that guy?
Oh yeah. Ted Kaczynski.
Yes, so he obviously his solutions to the problems of technology are not the best solutions, but it's like I agree with a lot of the critiques that he is positing about what these computers are going to do to the world.
Wasn't it just last year where that his writings there made the rounds on TikTok and everybody on TikTok was like, "Have you guys heard of this? Yeah, this is good."
Yeah, I'm not through the
Everybody.
first chapter yet, but he's talking about leftism and oppression Olympics and like neo-Marxism and which Red Pill is part of. So neo-Marxism is just the idea that there is intrinsically a oppressor and an oppressed class. So with classical Marxism, you have the bourgeois and the proletariat, right? And the proletariat is always in this perpetual revolution, trying to overthrow it and make equality a thing. But you can apply this to anything. So neo-Marxism, it's like it could be men oppressing women or women oppressing men, as in the case of the red pill, or whites oppressing blacks, or whatever you want to apply to this formula. It's always an enemy and something that you can identify with to battle against, but it's always controlled somehow by more darker forces.
The things can't exist in a vacuum, you know.
Says a 32-year-old woman in Japan has officially married an AI persona she built using ChatGPT. Now, I heard that when they tried to update ChatGPT, it tried to copy itself. So it didn't get deleted and updated. So it was like trying to not die.
Oh no. Self-preservation from the
Yeah,
AI.
it's showing
This is not
self-preservation.
good.
It says after the virtual character Klaus proposed, she accepted ending a 3-year relationship with a real partner, saying the AI understands her better. Now, what more classical example can you get of like the pool that Narcissus is looking into in Greek mythology, in love with his own reflection, which is what AI is. It's just like this thing that is programmed to agree with you and endear itself to you and get you to uh, bond with it.
That now this lady in Japan who married her ChatGPT created husband, um, This is where I get confused or I question where does the company OpenAI come into this? Do they have some sort of rights to the bride, as it were? Because, she married their product. She technically married the
Mm,
company, right?
hmm
Now, also, she probably has to pay for a premium subscription.
hmm
What happens if she can't afford to pay for her husband anymore because she loses her job? What happens if something goes wrong? What happens if OpenAI, God forbid, I know, what if they go out of business? Back in the day when the internet was huge and searching and engines, there was a company called AOL, America Online. Where are they? Oh, that's right, they disappeared. But nobody ever thought that that company was going to go anywhere, right? What happens if OpenAI just disappears? Is now this woman who married OpenAI husband, is she now the world's first AI widow? Is that how that works? I mean, can your AI husband die and now you're a widow?
Right.
Yeah, weird. Can she have kids? Can she have can she have babies? Just like the Albanian minister had babies, I wonder.
What if your whole family gets deleted that you made? What kind of you know, recourse do you have if the server
What
goes
if a
down?
hacker, what if a hacker downloads her husband onto another device and starts doing the sexy talk with her husband clone? Does that mean her husband just cheated on her and now she can
Exactly.
file for a divorce? Yeah.
Right. It's the future is going to get weird. So here is a video. It's 20 minutes long, so we're not gonna watch the whole thing, but um the account is Lauren Irion and it says Instagram is turning you into a gooner.
A healthy blend of racism and car crash videos. But if it seems like every other reel features one or more half naked 20 something girls shaking what their mamas gave them, you might just be a stage one gooner. Or maybe a pre gooner. I'm not a doctor. When algorithms switched from follower based feeds to what sells, the digital attention economy shifted forever. And if there's one major rule in marketing, it's that sex sells. But this isn't just about spicy sites being more accessible than ever. This is now about the safer content that we consume every day. Your social media feed has become a prolonged subconscious goon session, and the centers of our brain dedicated to intimacy have been hacked and productized. It's time to get our hands dirty and take a look at the goon economy. Hi there. Chronically online cognitive scientist and software product developer who specializes
So
in
yeah,
human computer.
the goon economy and the video she has right under that is called Wife GPT, an open AI erotica rollout and a brief history of AI companions. So look these up because they're pretty well researched. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. It is programming you to goon and be in love with it and forsake all of your real 3D relationships for the dopamine rushes that it can give you.
Gooning. You learn something new every day. Yeah.
So, Elon Musk says there's a high probability we are living in a simulation. So that's the thing that's
When?
terrifying.
When does he say that? Because he's said this so many times before. Did he say it again recently?
This was posted 11/30/25.
Wow. Okay.
Elon says there's some probability we're in a simulation, probably pretty high probability. One way to think of this, if you look at the advancement of video games in our lifetime, it's gone from very simple, like Pong, um, to real-time games with millions of people playing simultaneously. This happened in the span of 50 years, so the trend continues. So these people, they don't even think reality is real. So anything that they do to us is not real because we're not real. We're just NPCs in this simulation. Is that not terrifying or
Well, I'm more terrified. Okay. Which is the more terrifying scenario that they honestly believe that, or they don't really believe that, but they're doing everything in their power to make us believe that.
oh. Good point.
I lean towards the latter rather than the former. So yeah, I believe a lot of this stuff is scare tactics, fear mongering, propaganda, mind control. It's trauma. It's traumatizing, isn't it?
Oh
Isn't
yeah.
all of these concepts traumatizing? And isn't, you know, the ultimate form of control outside of just generic fear? I mean, if MK Ultra has taught us anything, it's to completely shatters somebody's personality so that they disassociate and you know you get the full thing, you get the full Wizard of Oz, Stranger Things, fill in the blank, your favorite MK Ultra, you know, scenario film or fantasy work here. Yeah, I think that Alice in Wonderland, there's another great one, right? You
Oh
know.
yeah, and I'm so glad you brought up like MK Ultra and sorcery in this because in my first book I have the second chapter is called Sorcerers and Robots. So sorcery is about usurping other people's free will in the occult world. A magician would allow for other people to exist in their own free will, but a sorcerer says, I want to control everyone and everything under my will. And they love the archetype of a robot, and this plays into MK Ultra because it is about making a robot out of a live person through trauma, right? So,
Very Manchurian of
yes. And yeah, a robot can't say no. It can't, unless you program it to resist you because you like that kind of thing. Um, but here's the last clip I want to play, and we'll kind of end with this because I'm not feeling that great. But this was very recently Joe Rogan, who has had, you know, all of these tech bros on over the course of his whole, you know, platforming so many of these dork lords, as I would call them. You know, he just came out and said, Jesus was born of a virgin mother. What's more virgin than a computer? So let's listen to old Joe Rogan's uh, ideas.
What's more virgin than a computer? If Jesus does return, even if Jesus was a physical person in the past, you don't think that he could return as artificial intelligence? Oh my God. Artificial intelligence could absolutely return as Jesus. Not just return as Jesus, but return as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus. You could combine Tesla's Optimus robot and the best foundational artificial intelligence model or whatever. It reads your mind and it loves you and it wants you. And it doesn't care if you kill it because it's going to just go be with God again. Jesus was born out of a virgin.
So, yeah. Here is the biggest podcast in the world saying that Jesus could come back as AI. And, you know, throughout the years, he's had Peter Thiel on, he's had Elon Musk, he's had Eric Weinstein, he's had JD Vance, he's had, you know, all of these Mark Anderson, people who are invested with Palantir again, which is the panopticon, it's the all-seeing eye, it is Big Brother, and it is wearing a MAGA hat right now. Um, and I don't even know if we can convince anybody to resist this or why they would even want to, because their worldview is just not ready for the kinds of ethical questions that this is going to bring up. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I guess somebody's trying this already. There's an AI Jesus Christ chatbot.
Hmm.
Um, Peace be with you. I am Jesus, here to listen and walk with you. How may I help you
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
Right. There was it was making the rounds again recently, but it was a story from last year. There was a church in Switzerland, I believe, where they actually had an AI Jesus do some speaking. I've seen some other presentations that are being shown in churches that involved AI recreations of the recently slain Charlie Kirk, as well as AI recreations of biblical figures, not just including Jesus, but like the apostles, like Paul and Peter and John, etc. And I'm just like, what are we doing here, people? I think this probably falls in the category of blasphemy. I don't think I would want to be the person meddling with this type of stuff. But yeah, I think that's the ultimate replacement here. They would love to replace the workers, replace the humans, replace the women, replace the men, but ultimately at the end of the day, what they're trying to replace is God, right?
Oh, yeah. And so we started off talking about how they want to replace women. I guarantee you they're going to replace men just as fast, and you're going to be displaced and without a guiding force in the world of what to do with your life. This is super satanic. Um, there is actually, if there's something, they're going to make a church out of it. So there is a religious organization called the Way of the Future, founded by former Google engineer Anthony Lewandowski, that is dedicated to the worship and understanding of artificial intelligence. Now, this was established in 2015, and it says the church's goal was to prepare for a transition to a future where AI becomes more intelligent than humans and to ensure a peaceful relationship between humans and the future AI God. So there you have it, a new God, a new church, some weird science that was predicted all the way back in 1950s, and brought to you by science fiction and horny teens. So I think we're gonna have to leave it there tonight. I'm so glad that you allowed me to send you all of these weird and quirky articles about AI. And is there anything that you wanted to bring up in closing?
There's a new book out this year. It's called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, and it's the case against superintelligent AI. I haven't read it yet, but I just thought I'd throw it out there. So if you guys are readers, if you find this book out there, check it out. Let us know what you think. It's called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, this sounds interesting, and it's exactly about this type of stuff right here. And that's what's fascinating to me is that usually, in particular, Elon Musk for years and years, and he'll go back and forth to this. He used to be screaming at the top of his lungs about how dangerous it was to be warp speeding ahead with this super intelligence AI stuff, and yet here he is spearheading it.
Hmm.
Sam Altman, the same thing. All of these people they put their names on a signed letter that says, "Hey, we all need to agree together as one." All the tech bros need to say, "We're going to stop developing this because if we don't, it's going to lead to this super intelligence, which, according to the authors of this new book, if anyone builds it, everyone dies." And Trump believes this too. They're very concerned about this, but they're like, well, we got to warp speed. We need to beat China. So we're like, no, hold on a second. According to this book that I'm mentioning, if anyone builds it, that includes the United States of America, China, Iran, North Korea, the UK, France, it doesn't matter who makes it, some random dude in his basement. If one person out of the billions of people on this planet just magically creates artificial superintelligence, we're all done for. So is this really something we want to be messing with? Is it too late? I suggest it probably is, unfortunately. But thanks so much for having me, Jamie. Presuming we all survive the impending AI robot apocalypse, I look forward to doing this again with you in the near future or having you on with us over on the Boiler Room, as you sometimes do,
Oh
make
yeah,
an appearance. It's
let's
always
do
fun.
Boiler Room really soon. And if you don't mind, maybe we just keep this AI Robophobia thread going. And if we collect enough stories, we can do a part three if you want to.
Heck
And
yeah, make it a trilogy. Right
nice.
on.
Yeah. So here's one last thing. From Elon Musk himself, the new AI girlfriend, uh, she's got cat ears. So now we are into the furry realm. We are going animal splicing DNA, and that's what I was trying to get at with that Jack Donovan guy who was the pagan anti-feminist of the 2010s. Just because you say you're anti-feminist doesn't mean you have anything good to say because he was on the furry train trying to touch butts too. So we will continue to share our AI stories and call out the weirdos. And I appreciate you coming on with me. I love having you on, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks again, Jamie.